But one thing I do like that has been erased and probably will continue, hopefully, depending on what election year goes on, is this student loan. And so we're
We'll
gonna talk
see,
about
man.
it.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about
we'll
it.
see. We'll see. So, y'all, the U.S. erases 7.7 billion with a B in student loans. Are you eligible?
Mm,
All right. So, the U.S. Department of Education, they announced that 160,000 more Americans have received the student loan forgiveness. Raise your hand if one of y'all was able to get that. Right? I don't know.
probably.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna check in on it too. I'm gonna check in. But anyway, it says this last forgiveness round amount to 7.7 billion in student loans. This actual forgiveness, it was targeting people who were looking for public service loan forgiveness and those enrolled in income driven repayment plans. That's probably a lot of people. That's probably a lot as far as the income driven ones as well. But the total loan forgiveness under the Biden administration now stands at 167 billion for nearly 5 million borrowers. And yeah, I mean, I have some family I know for sure that they were able to get their stuff erased, and they were happy because it was a lot of like multiple six figures, and they got that thing erased. So they were through the roof, to say the least.
To the
Um,
max.
yes, yes. So eligibility for this last forgiveness, though, it was including, like I said, public service workers and people under the White House's SAVE plan. Now, basically, financial expert, they're emphasizing the importance of financial literacy and understanding the implications of student debt. Now, here's what critics are saying, though. Critics are highlighting that student debt forgiveness existed before the Biden administration, but was previously inaccessible due to poor operations. So they
Mm,
try and make it a point to let you know this is the Biden administration that's doing this.
mm,
And know that it was available before, but only them. They the ones who
mm-mm.
got it through. Some
Uh,
express mixed emotions, feeling it's unfair to those who paid off their loans without that relief. Shout out to Tech Coach Ralph in the comments section, right?
Yep.
But uh, just to something to note, loan forgiveness is non-taxable federally, but may be taxed at the state level. And
Mm.
so, yeah, that's where we at now. What do y'all think about the student debt relief? Are y'all are y'all able to join in on this? Like,
Good.
are y'all getting some of this? Do y'all even need to get some of this? I don't know. Let us know.
Oh yes. I'm thinking about my wife because
Yeah,
she's wrapping up her master's degree pretty
yeah.
soon, probably next year actually, because the baby coming, she had to take a little break. But it's just like thinking about everything that she has to go when she's done. I'm like, Lord, let it just be a miracle that it just happens that those five figures are washed away. Uh,
Yes,
but
yes.
that's what I'm thinking about is like her for myself. I'm paying that off. I was not the smartest one to get that turned private, so I'm paying that off. So it is what it is. I do have some that's still federal,
Yeah.
but I think it really, I think hopefully they can figure that thing out because to have $1 trillion in debt where a lot of people did not use a degree or have not used a degree in regards to the field that they're working in, it'll be nice to kind of figure out how we can have that situation solved because it's either going to get they're going to relieve it, right? But then what's going to happen is the next generation will probably go into debt, going to school. So we got to
Yep.
find a real solution to not only relieve what's going on right now, but help it not last and continue going forward. That's the biggest thing. And Tech Coach Rao gave the number. He said we are 34 trillion in debt.
Mm,
34
mm,
trillion
mm,
in debt.
mm,
Like
mm, mm, mm.
like how like the math for that is crazy. The math for that is crazy.
It don't
Jesus.
even it cannot compute. It can't compute. You know, it's crazy. I was
Jeez.
man, I was looking at an article. This is a while back. I was looking at an article and they were saying I didn't even realize it. You know, sometimes you grow up and you just don't know what you don't know. I didn't even realize it, bro. I thought college was you always had to pay like boatloads of money for college. I didn't
Hmm.
realize that it wasn't until like the late or mid '60s or something like that. Um, College was free up until then, and then when that the protests and stuff started happening, back then, right? Basically, then they were just like, "Hey, let's switch this up because we need to make sure the right types of people are able to get in on these campuses and stuff like that." But I had no clue, bro. I'm thinking
Yeah,
college always been expensive. Even like back in the day, it was expensive for the time. I didn't even know, but
yeah.
it's wild to think they should have just left it where it was
Hmm.
as free 99, or super low, But this is, hey, y'all put this on yourselves.
Listen, I dropped that call in link for y'all to lament today. It's Memorial Day, it's early, but if y'all want to lament about your college
That's it.
woes, we are here to hear it today. We got some time, so so if you want to call in, feel free to call into the show. But that Tech Coach Ralph says, stop letting people take useless majors for 200K.
They'll
There,
never do that.
it's a business with them, but I totally agree. College get expensive when the government got involved. Then it became it came out like a money grab. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I agree though. I think that there's certain for professions, engineering, anything that has to do with a doctorate, like a medical doctorate, those things you gotta pay what you gotta pay, right? But I think that, and that's why I'm such big on like even other boot camps and things of that nature, or just alternative ways to learn. Like there's ways, cheaper ways that you could learn certain things. There's certain things that should be a hobby. Honest, let's just be honest. Like even my degree that I went for music, sacred music. That should have been a hobby. That should have been a hobby. I could have, done something different, and I'm humble enough to admit that. But I think that there's certain things that either you say, "Hey, I'm going to learn this on my own because I have a passion for it, and I'm going to get a degree in X, Y, and Z because it actually is going to be something that moves the needle financially, and then it
yep.
makes it easy to pay this stuff back." Or just you don't have to go to college, especially the way things are trending in our industry. College is becoming less and less. I'll tell this quick story, and then please, if you all have anything in the chat, if you want to call in and talk about this subject, feel free to do so today. But I remember hearing this one conversation that they had where somebody was an Uber driver. I think it was actually Cyrus that shared this story. Where he's an Uber driver at the time. He picked up a bunch of students from the local university, and they were all doing like a technical sort of degree. And he said, "Hey, are you guys excited to or do you feel like it was worth it going to college or whatever?" And they basically said no, because whatever field they were in, I think was software development. I think they basically said like, you know, we when we graduate, everything that we will learn will be obsolete. Like, yeah, we got the degree, but everything we've learned for the majority of what we learn is going to be obsolete. And so I thought that was very interesting because
That is
depending
interesting.
depending on your industry, you could have gone a cheaper route with a tech boot camp or mentorship or whatever, and you would have got in the know knowledge, what you need to know, no fluff, and you would not have this tag on you because that tag again, like, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody's in the chat, but I remember hearing one time that if you pass away, like student loans are one of those things that can pass on to your family
I heard
as
that same
as
thing, bro.
as debt that they can carry. Like I'm thinking that's so crazy that you're not even around. You no longer exist, and that can
Nah,
be passed on to your family. So there's so many different things that I feel like is wrong with this particular debt. And again, I think it's more of a systematic thing that needs to be changed. Yes, it's great to get this relief for certain people. I'm happy for them. I heard people on Facebook all the time saying, "Man, I just woke up and it's no longer there. Hallelujah!" But I personally believe that we need to fix the system. Like we need to make sure that this is not something that continues going forward because who's paying this debt? $34
obviously,
trillion?
obviously nobody.
Nobody. Nobody.
Obviously
Who's
nobody.
paying it? Keith Sweat got to come out and sing that song.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
because nobody, not a soul. Let me go to the comment section because it's rolling in here with Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch. We'll go to Mitch first. He says information changes every 6 to 8 months. So once you out of college, you're already behind. See,
Yeah,
that's so true, especially in our industry. You can pass on, you can pass on timeshares too. Uh, I gotta agree with that as well.
man,
No
that's
offense to
crazy.
anybody that's working in the industry, no offense, but yeah, I could agree with that as well. I've seen some damage there too. Um,
It's
but
one of
yeah,
those things. That's one of those things, man. You don't think about that stuff when you're going through, obviously, because they get you so young. But like, could you imagine you pass that on, and now like imagine you have the burden of having to bury you, but then now you've given them a huge bill as well on top of that, you know. And I'm only
hmm
saying it like that because y'all, let's get some life insurance. That life insurance,
oh,
make sure that it's like, if you know you ain't paid off your student loans, you better add that on top.
mm,
Like, add that on top of the number, so that
yeah,
they can get that stuff taken care of, so that you're not a burden when you pass away. Like,
that's a good point.
you want to be a blessing, not a burden. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, now you have to calculate your student loans and your
Dude, that's
debt.
wild.
That's wild. Forget about burial. Now you got to add that as well.
Mhm.
Just want to let sure you know we dropped the link in there. Click here to call into the show. We are going to be probably moving on to the next segment in a few. But hey, listen, if you want to call in and go back to this point and talk about this, let's lament on this Memorial Day about this situation.